Hi, my name is Jim, and so what I did was I put on the ApiGuard yesterday. So the day before I did a powdered sugar shake. Now I still only had one brood and a super at that point. So the next day after I did the sugar shake, I had about 50 varroa mites. That's pretty high. And so last night I put on the ApiGuard. That's comes in a package. That looks like that. ApiGuard. And so this morning I came out and this is what happened. So all those down there are pretty much mostly drones. I feel that that's a drone there. So I feel that he's still alive. I feel that inside of that box was so much smell of thyme. They were so stressed they decided to remove all the drones, which is a good thing. So those are all drones down there. They decapped them. Many of them were still in their larvae form. You can see this one here still in its small larvae form. And size up and different sizes. And they pulled them all out of the cells. There's a drone there. Looks like it's still alive a little bit. But what they decided to do, because all that stuff mostly was up here. They just brought it out and just set it right here. All those dead bodies. This was all packed this morning with dead bodies of drones. So what happened was that situation stressed them out, and so they became stressed, and they were looking for things to remove that could help the hive survive better. And so what they did is they started with the dudes. They took all the dudes out. Right? Maybe you're the problem. Because drones had served no meaningful purpose. In fact, they're a major drain on the hive. And so when there's a problem in the hive, many times they'll take out the girls. They'll take out the drones first, not knowing what the problem is, and that's what happened. The smell of that thyme oil was so intense in there. In fact, when I pulled the panel out yesterday, after putting the sugar shake there, and I put a new brood box. You can see here, put a new brood box. So now there's two brood boxes and one super. And so after I did that, I also noticed a lot of girls, a lot of the drones were brought out. So yeah, it's like crazy stuff. So they're eliminating the dudes. There's thousands of them down there. Well, shoot, I didn't expect that. I've put thyme oil in there a couple of times. I never seen nothing like that. Of course, I did it when it was in the fall when there's no drones. So yeah. So I guess maybe if you want to eliminate the drones, and the drones are the ones that cause most of the explosion of the varroa mites, because the varroa mites are able to gestate in that cell much longer and produce more mites, right? The drone cells is the varroa mites' favorite place to lay eggs, because the drone gestation is 26 days, right? And so, yeah, longer for the varroa mites to gestate out. So yeah, by putting in that ApiGuard, I eliminated a big problem that's always taken my hives out in the past, which was the drones. The drones exploded the varroa mite population. Early summer, it was like already heavy infested. It's kind of a cold day today, and excuse me. And so, and that's what would typically take out my hive, was the drones. And so drones gone. I wouldn't doubt if they took out every single one of them, because what I did is I instead of leaving it in the package, it recommends leaving it in, because of the gel comes in a little cap, and you're supposed to just kind of set it in there. What I chose to do is kind of put globs of it all over, because my experience is they'll leave it alone and it'll just dry out, and then I've got all that stuff just sitting in that little tray, and it dries out hard and it doesn't serve any purpose anymore. So I wanted to actually spread it out a little bit and hit those mites like really hard. And it killed some of the weak bees, some of the older ones, some of the probably the ones that were already infected with you know, the DWV virus that were in there. It took out the weak ones, the weak bees, the ones that are sick, and they brought them all out here. So see how it goes. I haven't checked my observational panel yet. In fact, maybe I will. Let's see what it looks like. Observational panel. Okay. So here's where I have it. So I just pull this. That girl's way back here. What, you gonna come over here and mess with me? Say what? You might be in heavy guard duty. I don't know. So, oh my gosh! I just took this out yesterday. Oh wow, that is crazy. I have never seen it that loaded in a 24-hour period. So I took it out about this time yesterday, a clean one, one that, you know, didn't need, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to find any varroa mites in that mess. So I gave them 10 new frames too that already had a bunch of comb on them. And they were in there cleaning those old combs up. Oh, they're doing a really good job. Jeez, in 24 hours, they did that. That's all 24 hours right there. That whole thing. This whole panel looked like this over here. That is just crazy, man. Yeah, the old phrase, busy bees, busy as a bee. Well, yeah, that's what they were. Definitely busy. So I'm going to get another panel. Oh, I don't have one here. So I'm going to grab another panel. So I have 2 panels here. I think what I'll do is I'll just toss them both in there. One-handed. So I'll just toss them both in there. That way I can just slide one out and there'll automatically be another one in there. Just like that. I think the only problem though is my wood may not fit in there. May not fit. Oh yeah, it works. All right. Yeah, that'll work. I got it designed so that I got this cut so that it only fits one panel at a time. That's just my little gap filler there. Okay. So that way I can just pull one out at a time. That is just crazy. Oh my gosh. Good luck finding any varroa mites in there, Jim. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. That is a lot of dead drones down there. They all look like drones too. There's one, the deformed they got the deformed virus right there. That one has it. That one has it. It looks like they all have it. Well, that one doesn't. But it looks like most of these drones have the DWV virus. Deformed wings. Yep, pretty much all of them. So they decided to bring them all out. That's a good thing. So I'm gonna have to remember that. Put that Happy Guard in around this time every year. Get all those drones that might be affected with the DWV or have some mites in them, and they'll bring them out. I've never heard of that. I'm kind of strange that way. I experiment, take risks. You know, take that motorcycle and do a backflip and see how it goes. Yeah. Let's see if I can make it. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to remember that. That's a good way to get rid of the drones before they really heavily infect your hives with the infections and the varroa mites. Wow, That is a good thing to know. Everything I've heard about AppyGuard is they recommend only using it in fall. Well, maybe they've never thought about using it in spring to kill the drones if there's mite infection. I don't know. New things are being discovered every day, right? When we thought we knew something, some discovery comes up and they can prove it. It's reproducible. It's it was discovered by accident. Nobody was trying to discover it. Just, they're just doing that observation thing, going, "What's that happening in that petri dish there? It's killing all that bacteria." Well, it was a fungus that came through the window from a lab, and it was killing the bacteria in the dish. It's called penicillin. Then we had penicillin. The discovery of penicillin was an accident, and that's what happens a lot, right? It's always important to keep our minds open. Don't get stuck on anything. I don't get stuck on any perspective of anything. I keep my mind wide open, and I'm ready to invite or delete anything in a split second. Like you discover something, you go, "Oh, I was always told that wasn't true, but there it is. It's a flying unicorn right there in front of me, as it's licking my hand." Right? Just keep the mind open. I'm not saying there's flying unicorns. Wait a minute. What's that? Right? So my girls clean house. Wow, that is so cool to know. They clean house. It must be 2,000. Now that's not including all the ones they flew away with. When I came down here to see what was going on, I was sitting here for a moment trying to gather my senses, and I was seeing them coming out with those drones and flying away with them. So that may not even be half of what actually they took out. They might be out there somewhere, right? Most of them. That's thousands, man. Oh my gosh, they're up in here. Yeah, crazy everywhere. Wow. Okay, well, that's something to think about. All you folks that are beekeepers, or because this podcast is going to be around for probably decades, right? And I might throw this out again next year, this same one, so that over the years I'll just keep throwing this same podcast out, so that people who want to start up a beehive or beekeepers, you give them an idea to throw an AppyGuard in somewhere in March, middle of March, end of March. Depends on where you are. You got to know what your geography, what the climate is. Yeah. So this is the 30th of March, 2026. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. I wish they would come up with another method, YouTube, besides people having to say that. I don't know. I think it's a funky system. But that's their business. That's how they work. And so everything looks okay. I see a lot of dead regular bees too. So that thyme oil hit those varroa mites. If it hit my bees that hard, then it hit those mites even harder. And when I tried to use another chemical one time, a couple of years ago, I was following those directions to the T. Put one strip in between here, one strip in between here, and walk away. Well, I walked away, but something was agging at me after I put it in there. So I came back 30 minutes later, and almost all my hive was already dead and dying on the bottom of the hive. 30 minutes later, they made the concentration in those strips too high at the factory. It was a Chinese thing. They put too much concentration on it, and eventually it killed my hive. It didn't last very long after that. It was so weak. Yeah, so I'm really hesitant using chemicals. But I know what this thyme oil is, and I know that it's strong for them. But I'd rather kill some of the hive, the weak ones, the sick ones, the ones that are carrying varroa mites. I'd rather kill those than my whole hive die because of the infection. So it's just killing the sick and the weak and the infected. Yeah, that's the way it is. I could have used oxalic acid or some other thing, oxalic acid. I might do that in the future instead of doing this in the spring. I don't know. I'm just gonna play it by ear. All right. Well, that's kind of my story today. Yeah, everything looks okay. It's pretty. It's so cold. My hands are like getting kind of stiff. Cold day today. And we've had weather in the 70s, upper 70s. Oh, nice and sunny. But you know, it's still March. It's still considered winter. It's when we're usually getting a lot of snow up at our ski resort up there. I love going skiing up there around in March because there's more snow. And it's usually, the snow is usually fluffier. Because many times I've gone up there skiing and it was snowing, right? And it was just a beautiful ski trip. Yeah. So it's probably snowing up there now with this kind of weather. Good. Huh. There's these little gnats, and they look like little. If you look really close, they look like little tiny furry bears. The hairs are really long compared to their body, and really fluffy and thick. It just flying around here and had these little blue heads. If you get a close-up look at them, they look cute, actually. Interesting little bugs. Have these really thick white fur coats on. In fact, so do my bees. My bees have these really thick, hairy backs. It goes around their chest. Yeah, that's what keeps their internal organs warmer. Yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't had to use this today since I've been sitting here. Lately, I haven't been buzzing by one girl. She'd just buzz the heck out of me. I'd capture her and just kind of sit her, give her time out until I leave. Not today. They got bigger things on their mind right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go and check that and see how many mites I have on that panel, and give an update. I wouldn't doubt if there's hundreds. Well, it depends upon how infected. I got 50 out yesterday, and that was just from doing a powder shake. Imagine after putting that ApiGuard in there that's designed to kill the mites. Powdered sugar is not designed to kill. It just makes them want to shift their body around because it gets tacky and sticky on them. They don't like it, so they start moving around and they become dislodged, and then they fall onto my observational panel, and I got 50 from that. So I'll go see what I have now. All right, subscribe. Good day. Bye. To the margarita. No hands. Look, Ma. No hands. Okay. Well, this is what it looked like. Today is still the same day, 23:20. Well, actually, today's 3:30. It's 3:30. No, it's not. 3:30. That's like Peter Piper picked the pepper. So 3:30:26. So this is what it looks like coming out of that hive. So this is when I put the ApiGuard in there. This is what it looked like the next day. So I put ApiGuard in there and I added a new brood box that had all the frames already on it. They just need to be cleaned up. Well, they did some cleaning, didn't they? So what I wanted to do is just kind of take a peek and see what kind of varroa mites came off of that. Yeah, there's some there. Oh yeah. Quite a few, but not as many as I thought there was going to be. I got 50 yesterday from the powder sugar shake, and I probably looks like maybe I'm going to have about 150 from the ApiGuard application. Yeah. Well, maybe 200. Whoa. So, yeah, maybe 200. What I'm seeing here also is all kinds of bugs, like parts, parts of bugs, legs, heads. So there must be things trying to get in there. There's a head of something right there. Uh, there's things that keep trying to get in there, and they don't survive very long when my bees dismantle them, and then they fall through the 8-inch hardware cloth and land on here. There's all kinds of different little bugs, different species of different bugs, and their body parts. Kind of like a bug body parts store. You leg bug? Okay, so I guess that's it. So I'm going to pick all these off just to kind of get a general idea how many dropped off. Now I got a new panel in there, and so I'll see what that is tomorrow. So they're still bringing out the dead and the dying larvae, and they're still bringing out the dead and the dying bees, the ones that were probably sick. Because I'm hoping that all the girls that were, before I put the ApiGuard, there were some sick girls coming out, and there were some that had deformed wings. And so my hope is that the ApiGuard was such that it took out all the sick ones who are the spreaders of the disease, and they're being removed from the hive so that my hive will be healthier when they fully recuperate. I'll see how that goes. It's like my own personal little experiment, right? I don't know, because I didn't expect that. I didn't expect ApiGuard to do what it did. I've researched ApiGuard a lot, and they say, don't apply it in spring, only in fall. Well, I did it springtime, right? And I'm actually liking the effect of what's happening. So see how that goes. And so that's kind of it. So what I do is I take a jar of water and a pick, and also I will pick out some of the pollen. I collect that. Some people collect rocks and agates. Well, I collect pollen. Well, why does that boy do that? Because you can. So this is kind of what I do. All right, I just kind of go through here and start picking them off one by one. Because I like to keep a mental note after I do something like this specific. I like to kind of keep a mental note how many varroa mites came off with that treatment. So I will take out that one-time time, because this is a one-time thing. Last time I did the ApiGuard and did this kind of count where there was this many was last fall. And there was a lot, a couple hundred, after I did the same thing. So there you go. All right, please subscribe, thumbs up, and the bell, leave a comment, and you have a good day.